Good morning. Or is it good afternoon? I don't know. Oh, it's afternoon already. Good gracious. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it feels like it's morning time. So it is time for another episode of Conversations of Support with me, Laura. And I am sitting outside, kind of muggy today. I'm on the eastern shore of Maryland, and hubby is dozing off and on the sofa. Son is still kind of in the process of waking up in the morning. He's still in bed. So good morning, Betsy, or good afternoon. See, I can't even get it straight. We don't sleep a whole lot in this house, so I feel like our days just kind of blur all together, and I know Betsy understands this. But so hubby is kind of dozing, waiting for son to be ready to get up and get going for the day. So I thought I would sneak outside and come chat. And I got dressed. See, I actually put real clothes on for you all. Isn't that special? Got out of my PJs. I swear, yesterday I just had no energy, so I just stayed in my PJs all day, took a shower that night, put on some new clean jammies, and before I went to bed. So it was just one of those days, and I think we're all entitled to having that kind of day. Today is prayer request day, so if you have a prayer request, put it down in the comments. Let me know what you would like to have me include in the prayers today. But first, we're going to talk about my topic for yesterday that I wanted to talk about if I had done my live yesterday, was about self-respect. Do you respect yourself enough to honor who you are? Hey, Valerie. And know your own self-worth. I think a lot of us struggle at times with we want others to respect us, and yet we don't respect us. So how can we expect anybody else to respect us if we're not respecting ourselves? So hey, Dixie, how are you? Just sitting outside. Today is going to be prayer request day, and we're talking about self-respect. I just didn't have enough energy yesterday to jump on and do a live yesterday, so I'm doing it today. So one of the quotes that I found says, "Don't lower your standards for anyone or anything. Self-respect is everything." And with my experience with the recovery coach stuff, and I see that most obviously, but if you don't respect yourself, you have a tendency to make bad decisions, and you have a tendency to make decisions that end up hurting you in the long run. But when you're more confident, and when you respect yourself, respect who you are, respect your individualism, then you tend to make better decisions that will help not only yourself, but the community. Respecting yourself and others, respect yourself and others will respect you. And I really, it's that be kind to others and others will be kind to you. It all works together. Hey, Jeff, how are you? We survived the torrential downpour yesterday here on the eastern shore. I think we got about 5 inches of rain. But we can't expect others to give us respect, even if we're trying to respect them. But if we don't respect ourselves and we're doing things that hurt ourselves or unintentionally hurt others, we're not going to get that respect back. So respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. And I think a lot of us are struggling with that right now, that don't stay in a toxic friendship, don't stay in a toxic volunteer position or a work situation if it's tearing you apart, if it's making you feel not worthy, if it's making you feel less than. And because we all want to be acknowledged, we all want to be valued, and we all want to be successful, right? And happy. So we can't do that if we're not if we're leaving ourselves in those situations where we're letting others have the opportunity to hurt ourselves. So respect yourself to get out of that toxic relationship or environment. Hey Lisa, how are you? And find the support system that you need that will help encourage you. If you're lacking in your own self-confidence right now and you don't feel like the past mistakes that you've made in your life are hindering you now, find people who will encourage you, who will support you and let you know that those past mistakes are not who you are. They are a part of you. They're part of your experience and your life experience, but they do not define how you move forward in life. So if you don't have enough strength right now to respect yourself, find that little bit by reaching out to somebody who will help you, who will encourage you, and will guide you and reassure you that you are worthy and that you are special as you are. Sometimes walking away is the only option, not because you want to make someone miss you or realize they took you for granted, but because you finally respect yourself enough to know that you deserve better. And hey Laura, how are you? Miss you, my friend. One day when I'm back out on back in Harford County, I want to get together with a bunch of my friends individually and do lunch and catch up. But you know, this staying here is, we don't need to force others to miss us. We don't need to tell them that they took you for granted. You will find a better relationship because you value you. And when others see that you value yourself, then they will come back and they will value you just as much. Hey Lynn, how are you? So having healthy boundaries is a form of self-love and self-respect. And I've had a hard time doing boundaries sometimes myself. And in my former career life, that was hard because I'm an open book. I tend to reach out. I want to connect with people. I make myself available 24/7. When I do my recovery coach stuff, you know, I have answered phone calls at 3 a.m., 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., all on the same day. And that's okay. I make myself available. But then at times I've had to say, you know what? I got to put a boundary on this. I have to limit when you can reach out to me. Otherwise, I end up hurting myself. I burn out, and then I cannot give you the best of me if I have used it all up on somebody else. So setting boundaries, knowing if you have a toxic friendship or a toxic work environment, knowing what your boundaries are and what you're willing to put up with, it is going to be better for you in the long run, and it respects yourself. You don't need to let people walk all over you. You don't need to be the doormat for everyone else, okay? Because you are just as valued and you are just as important and needed. So don't be afraid to even verbalize those boundaries, not just keep them within yourself, you know, and mentally say, okay, I've got a boundary. I know that if I'm around this person, they bring out the toxic part of me because they always bring drama around with them, or they're always negative and complaining, that I can be around them and I can support them, but maybe I can only do it for an hour versus an all-day thing. Okay? So know how much of any type of situation that doesn't bring you happiness or a feeling of worth. Know when to say, I can't do this anymore. You know, because there are people out there who are just going to complain about everything because and obviously they're probably struggling with something in their lives that they're not happy with, that they are just taking it out on whoever's going to listen to them. And if you're willing to listen, that's great. But you also need to make sure that you don't overload yourself with all of their negative thoughts too, because it's so easy, especially in this time right now, to latch on to the negatives of life. Find that positive thing in there. Find that positive, find the positive part of that person or that environment that you can focus on. And that will help you get through whatever it is, in order to not only help them, but to keep yourself happy and healthy too. Because self-respect is part of our self-care, and it's part of taking care of ourselves. We all know that saying, that if our cup is empty, we cannot fill anybody else's cup, right? So, you know, I don't want anyone to ever feel that they're not worthy, and I try to make a specific effort to focus on that, to make sure that if we're communicating together, that I do it in the hopefully in a manner that lets you know you are valued and that you are important, and I want to hear what you have to say and all of that too. You know, so tell me what you do to make sure that you're self-respecting yourself. Is there any tips that you do? Is there anything that brings you a way that when you start to lose that grip on feeling worthy, that you can reel it back in and know that you are? What do you do? What do you focus on? Do you surround yourself or with others that are supportive of you, or do you close yourself off and hibernate? Do you, you know, because I looking at myself, I tend to probably hibernate more than I care to admit. I don't have a super close network of people that I reach out to. But that's not because I don't feel that I'm worthy. It just means that maybe God hasn't put me in that person's life at that moment. So I do a lot of trusting and having faith that God will put me where He needs me. And if He doesn't need me in a friend's life for a little while, that's okay. Because maybe He needs me somewhere else. So, hey Joshua, how are you? How's the family? So today we're just talking about self-respect, doing things and honoring ourselves, being okay with who we are, how we are. We are all individuals made in the image of God, and we are all valued and important. But we are all also important to the community. So respect yourself enough that you can then give respect to others, and when others see you respecting yourself and honoring yourself, they will respect you as well. It goes both ways, you know. If they see you hurting yourself with actions and making decisions that are more detrimental than beneficial to you, they're not going to give you a whole lot of respect either, and they're going to treat you as the person that they can walk all over. So be strong enough to stand up for yourself and to advocate for yourself. Today is also prayer request day, so if you have any questions or prayers that you would like, put them in the comments, please, if there's something specific. Otherwise, everyone that has been on here is automatically always on my prayer list for today. But sometimes all we can do is not think, not wonder, not imagine, not worry, and just breathe and have faith that God is in control. That is what a prayer is for me. We're going to go over a couple of prayer sentiments before I get to the actual prayer request. Asking for prayer isn't about putting burdens on friends. It's about letting them walk with us down a path We were never intended to walk alone. So let's see what Lynn says. I agree. I changed my boundaries after losing your daughter, Amanda. People don't get losing a child changes everything about your life and your own being. I needed to let go of energy-sucking friends. I used to be the ear that listened, the shoulder to cry on, and the advice giver if it is asked for. And I need to keep myself afloat and didn't have the energy to deal with their baggage, and some didn't like and or understand it. I tend to hibernate some, but have a few people that I can count on when I'm feeling really low. Exactly. That's the first step, is to know what is good for you, Lynn. And I can't imagine the loss of losing a child. I know you went through such a terrible time when it first happened and everything like that. And there's no way that I can actually ever say that I truly understand. I can empathize and I can sympathize. And when people see that, they can do that for you. And you know that those of us that haven't experienced the exact same situation you have of losing a child or your parent or a sibling, because I know one of my other friends on here has, I can't say I understand that yet. More than likely at some point I will too. And one of the things that brings me comfort is to know that there will be friends out there who will have had this experience already, who can be there to support me. And if all I can do for you now at this point, because without having actually experienced it, I can't say anything. All I can do is listen and be there for you. And but your boundaries have to be that you need to be able to say to me or anyone else, I just want you to listen. I don't want advice. I don't want a shoulder to cry on. I just want to talk about her. I just want to say her name. I just want to say, for my other friend, just want to talk about her dad or her brother. If that's what I can do for you, then that's what I will do. And for those who do not understand that, then they're maybe not meant to be right now the active person in your friendship circle. It doesn't mean that they can't be there again, but if they're not, it means that God had them in your life at a certain time for a certain reason. I can only imagine that phrase, I miss the old you, the old me is gone forever. And I think that I'm sure you feel that you miss the old you too, right? But you can't get that old you back because you don't have all your pieces here with you. You don't have your daughter. So knowing that and accepting in a way that you don't have that old you will never be the same. People need to understand that you are still you, and you are going to be a different you. It doesn't mean that the old you has been gone, because you were there and your daughter was there. We're not erasing you. We're not erasing your daughter, but we are going to encourage you to be the you that you are now, the you that can sympathize and empathize with someone else who has gone through this difficult journey of losing a child. You will be the better person for that person than me right now, because I haven't experienced that, and I can appreciate you for who you are at this moment, and who you were back then, and who you will be in the future. So I think that's what we all need to realize, is we're all going to change, right? We're all going to evolve. Things are going to happen in our lives. It's part of our journey. And if we stayed the exact same our whole entire life, then that doesn't mean, in my eyes, that we've ever experienced anything, or that we've ever grown, or anything like that. So take the time to appreciate who you are, and where you are at this point in your life. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Kitty. And, don't let the visions or the perceptions of other people affect how you live your life and how you treat others. Just because their experiences are different than yours doesn't mean that you should change how you would make your decisions, or you should change how you treat someone else. If you've always been a kind person, you're always going to be a kind person, right? Even when we've had hardships in our life to endure, you got to focus on and find the strength to acknowledge what and who you are at this point in your life. But we can do this together. We can encourage one another. We can support one another. So I hope you feel better knowing that you have made your group of people in this time of your life the ones who are supportive of you, who will grow with you, who will talk about the past, but in a good way, and talk about the future in a good way. One of the other sayings that I found about prayers, it says, it's kind of like a prayer, but it says, "Dear God, enlighten what's dark in me, strengthen what's weak in me, mend what's broken in me, bind what's bruised in me, heal what's sick in me, and lastly, revive whatever peace and love has died in me." Amen. Because we're all struggling, and we're all going to struggle at some point in our lives with all of that. And you just need to say a prayer. And you don't even have to have specific words for that prayer. Because if I am Christian, and I freely talk about that. And so I do pray, and sometimes, I know God knows my prayers before I even speak them. So if I can't verbalize it, it's okay. If all I can do is cry that day, that's okay. God still knows what's in my heart and what I'm looking for and what I need help with, and He will guide us. Pray not because you need something, but because you have a lot to thank God for. So if all you feel like is you're focusing on everything that you don't have, or that you are struggling with, fear or anxiety or stress of whatever kind, then take the moment to just find something grateful that you can focus on. Hey, Ophelia, find something that's positive to focus on, because if all we ever do is focus on the negatives, then that negativity wears on us, and that will become what our heart feels the most. And if you want to feel joy and happiness, we have to find the positives. So even though right now the world is in upheaval and everything is feeling kind of chaotic and unsure, find something good. The fact that I can sit outside today, the fact that I have my family is doing okay right now, the fact that my neighbors are doing well, I can find some positives to focus on. The fact that I got dressed today is a positive, right? Yesterday, I just felt so tired, and I don't know if it was hormonal or what. Sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason. You just have one of those days, and it was a blah day for me. But the fact that I got dressed today, no, I did not put a bra on for you. Sorry. But the fact that I got dressed today, I actually brushed my hair for you, has made me feel a little bit better today. I have a little bit more energy today. I wanted to come talk today. Yesterday, I didn't want to talk to anybody, So I'm grateful that today I have the energy to feel good and to come and chat, Thank you, Ophelia. Exactly, Lynn, and that's the other thing. God's timing is on such a different schedule than ours is, almost always, right? Human time feels so different than God time, but that's part of what He wants us to do, is to trust Him, that He knows the better timing for things. And you know how everybody keeps saying the new normal and all of that stuff. Well, my normal has never matched anybody else's. When you have to care for a child 24/7 who can't feed himself, can't get dressed, can't get out of bed unless somebody helps them, can't roll over in bed, my normal has never looked like anybody else's normal. So our family has always been different. So it's okay. But that's what works for our family. So you're doing what works for your family, and God knows it, and He's going to put other things in line that matches your family, and when He feels that it will bring the biggest benefit for you. It's frustrating, it's hard, but when we go to make these decisions and we're thinking, oh gosh, God, can't you hurry up and get this done? But if we don't respect ourselves, we're going to slip up and we're going to make decisions that are not of good value for ourselves. I do want to keep a couple of friends in our prayers today. A couple of them are waiting on some health results. Some of them are not feeling well. Let's take this time, to pray together, to ask God to comfort those who are struggling with fear and anxiety, loneliness, because we're being still social distancing. Pray for their peace and comfort. Pray for those who are not feeling well, whether it's their leg and the fear of a blood clot, whether it's the news of maybe some health news that's not so good right now. Comfort them and remind them that you are there with them to heal them, to get through whatever journey it is that they need to go through with them. I ask that we pray for the peace and comfort for those who have lost loved ones, whether it was this year, last year, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. If they are still grieving, because they are still grieving, please comfort them and give them good memories to hold on to and to bring them peace and comfort, that they are not alone in the struggle of sadness, and that you will surround them and put people in their path who will be there to comfort them, to listen to them, to reminisce about fond memories of their loved one together, until we can all meet again in heaven with you, Lord. I ask for those who are struggling with the virus or fear of the virus, or who may have been exposed to the virus, that they find the peace and comfort while waiting for test results. And if they do have it, that you heal them in a way that keeps their family members and co-workers safe as well. I pray that those who are visiting with friends, with surprise visits, that they enjoy their time together, that we all take the time to appreciate the people who are in our lives, whether they're in person or through Facebook. God, you remind us that we are all connected, that we are all individuals, and we are all respected by you, and that you want us to respect ourselves. So I just pray that whoever has any needs that need to be shared today, that you hear them, that you hear their cries of thankfulness, that you hear their cries of help and support, and you put people in their place here on earth who can be there for them. So in your name we pray for all of these things. Amen. Um, so if anybody else has any other prayer requests that you would like me to pray for you this evening with, or any other day, please let me know. You know I'm all about conversations of support and encouragement. I am not one to be a debater. I am not one to argue, but I will advocate for you if you need help. So if you are in recovery, if you need support, reach out to me or to someone who can be there for you. If you are struggling with your own mental health or self-care, please reach out to myself or anyone else. You know, one of the biggest things we can do is to let people know where we're at and how we feel. So I will be live again on Monday. I try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but as you can see, flexibility is key. And if I don't go live on one day that's scheduled, I will go live on another day to make up for it. But I hope you all have a wonderful weekend together. I hope you can celebrate who you are, respect who you are, give yourself some self-love, self-respect, and self-worth. Because when you do that for yourself, you will be able to do that for others too. So on that note, if you go out, please wear your face mask. Please make sure you smile when you wear your face mask. Even though I can't see here, I can see here. So let people see the laugh lines, the wrinkle lines, whatever you want to call them, the smile lines. Let people know that you're there for each other. Hey, Mr. Rob, how are you? I'm just wrapping up. Feel free to go back and watch this later if you want. We're talking about self-respect and prayer request day. So I did some prayers for everyone. So I pray for each one of you that come into my mind as God puts you there. But as always, if you need anything, reach out, put it in the comments. If you have a topic you would like to talk about, please let me know. I enjoy chatting with all of you, and I like the feedback from everyone. So until then, have a wonderful family weekend. Hopefully at some point today, husband and son will be up and out of bed. But if they're not, it's okay. That's what we're doing today. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Blessings to all of you. You are cared for, you are important, you are loved, and you are made in the image of God, and He loves each and every one of us. So be kind to one another, okay? So I will see you, I'll post something tomorrow, but I will see you live on Monday. All right? Bye.